This is a story of how reality shifting could have saved my sim. This is a prequel to My Sim is a Reality Shifter, and a sequel to My Sim Manifested Reality Shifting. Justin was a 17-year-old kid who was a senior in high school. He lived with his mom and dad. All he ever wanted to do was make his parents proud. That's when he shared his dream with them about wanting to become an entertainer. However, his parents didn't support him and thought his dream was silly and unrealistic. If he was going to pursue it, then he would have to leave the house. Justin followed his heart, and he said he wasn't giving it up. And that's when Sarah and Dusty, his parents, kicked him out. Justin was always a kid who wore his heart on his sleeve, so he never held grudges. He acknowledged what happened to him was wrong, but saw this as a blessing in disguise, because this was a chance for a fresh start. He was not angry at the world at all. That's when he moved to Willow Creek. Justin was such a nice young man. He was welcomed to the neighborhood with open arms, and even introduced himself to people. He even hosted a party at his house on his very first day. While he met a huge quantity of people on his first day. Only very few of those people were going to be quality and become his friends. Most didn't, so he asked himself, why not go visit his neighbors? That's when he took a visit at the BFF household, which consisted of Travis Scott, Liberty Lee, and Summer Holiday. They were a problematic group of friends, all nothing but drama. Liberty and Summer were better friends who constantly tried to one up each other, while Travis is only friends with them, with hopes of getting with one of them. So he was bad news, but also Liberty and Summer were bad news. When Justin saw Summer, he thought she was cute, but then he found out about her reputation in town. She was known to have played a lot of guys, and Justin decided it's in his best interest, realizing this one wasn't going to be the one for him. That's when Justin ended up cursing all three of them out and thought they were nothing but troublemakers. He called Travis an incel, and he called Summer Holiday a whore. Then they all just got into a heated argument, including Liberty Lee, because that's her friends. So she stuck by them. So that's when they all decided they all wanted nothing to do with each other. Because despite all this, all is well because moments later, Justin sees this cute chick on the street. Her name was Evelyn, a beautiful Latina. They hit it off from the start. It was love at first sight. They had a lot of things in common. They both loved pop music, and they were both socially awkward people. Evelyn herself was also a shy girl, so this was also a overwhelming experience for her, in the best way ever. They both got each other's contact information down on the very first day they met. An amazing thing they found out is they went to the same high school. So it's meant to be. Then, the next few days, Justin would hang out with Evelyn. These two would watch TV together, mess around, go on dates together, go to lounges together, and go to the park together. They would also visit other districts in town for their dates. And all the time they spent together was completely real. Justin even moved in with Evelyn not too long after. By this point, this validated everything he said about him getting kicked out was the best thing to have ever happened to him. Even though what his parents did was messed up, it all led to this. Justin and Evelyn even made a few friends in school, and they all even did homework once. But because it was towards the end of the year, no one really got the chance to get to know each other that well. But it's okay because they already knew the ones that were going to be together forever, and that was themselves. Because really, friends go separate ways after high school, so they didn't trip because they knew that. But them two, they're going to last for an eternity. They eventually graduated high school, and now it was time to figure out what's next. Luckily, Justin's freelance career was taking off, which made his net worth increase to $730,000, all at a perfect time. It was for sure God sent by the universe. This not only gave him enough to move to buy a new house in a new neighborhood for his next chapter, this also gives him way more than enough money to start his entertainment career. He was living so blissfully. After he and Evelyn moved into their new two-story house, right across the street was a married couple. Was a married couple who were amazing people. Their names were Eliza Pancakes and Bob Pancakes. They all became best friends. They constantly saw each other every day and talked to each other every single day. They would be visiting Bob and Eliza. Bob and Eliza would come visit them. They were perfect mentors because Bob and Eliza were already adults, which means they have more life experiences and can teach Justin and Evelyn about life. Because not too long after Justin and Evelyn graduated, they turned 18, so they're now young adults. So this for sure was so perfect. This friendships and everything. Bob and Eliza were set for life and have settled down for years. They have 2 kids together and plan to have one more. These people, man, were friends you wanted to have at your lowest. This gave Justin the realization that life goes by fast. So there was not a more perfect time to do this than now. One day he took Evelyn out for a drink and then went to the park. The park was where they had the first date. They would constantly woohoo every single day, but always use protection because they didn't want a kid. But now, since they are in a position where they are stable, both mentally and financially, they went crazy and didn't care about the consequences. Now, these two were trying to have a baby. They kept trying and trying until one day they eventually got successfully pregnant. These two were so happy and couldn't wait to welcome the little one. But then some bad news happened. They lost the baby in a miscarriage. This crushed both of them so much, but it's okay. Justin always believed if one thing didn't happen in one universe, it did happen somewhere else. He was a sucker for quantum mechanics. So somewhere else out there, he believed his kid was already born. After taking a break for a bit, they ended up trying again and got pregnant again. They successfully keep the baby this time, and then days later, Evelyn gave birth to a beautiful baby boy named Zach. Zach was the new love of their lives. They would constantly play with him, nurse him, change his diapers, feed him, and overall, it was so fun having him around the house. They both never wanted to leave him behind and were so attached to him. Evelyn would cry so much whenever they had to leave him alone at home, when they had to run errands. But that's the thing too. They realized, no, 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 no. Zach can't take care of himself yet. So that's when Justin decided he would hire multiple nannies. But all ended up failing because they didn't do their job well and was just in it for the money. They could care less what happened to their kid. He would curse the workers out, and rightfully so, and fire them. But fast forward a few days later, they finally landed the right nanny. His name was German Andrews. German Andrews did an amazing job of babysitting Zach when Justin and Evelyn weren't around. The whole family loved Andrews, and he even became a close friend. He was basically considered family by this point. He always came over, even on days where he was off, because he simply loved what he did. That is the type of guy you give your money to. Eventually, Zach grew up and became a child, so eventually he wasn't needed much more. But Andrews still came and visited the house from time to time. Justin and Evelyn think they got this now. Zach would start going to school, and turns out he loves science, to the point where his parents even bought him his own lab set. He was a shy and awkward kid though, so he never made many friends. But it was all good. He had his parents. One day, Justin went shopping, and he bought a pool for the house, which is perfect because they could grow food outside in the backyard and have nice swims as well. Justin thought he was untouchable and became engulfed with pride. Despite Zach never had swam before, he still thought Zach could learn on his own. So he and Evelyn would go upstairs just to make out and woohoo, leaving Zach by himself. Eventually it got to nighttime and they completely forgot about Zach. Because at the end of the day, Zach can't swim here. But when they came to their senses, Zach already fell asleep in the pool and then drowned. Then he realized, what? What? That's when Justin realized, no, 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 no. Like, he basically yelled to Evelyn that Zach has passed away. The Grim Reaper came, literally, and was ready to take Zach's soul. Until Justin kept begging for him back. And he was very lucky because the Grim Reaper really does this, but he gave Zach back to them. Despite all of this, though, Justin thought it was just a freak accident and told Zach just to get out of the pool when he feels sleepy and not realizing the fact that that wasn't the problem. Justin was missing the point. And the fact that Zach wasn't taught how to swim was the problem. So once again, Justin was careless, and so was Evelyn. Then the exact same thing happened. Zach was just trying to do a back float, and then he drowned again. And once again, while Zach was doing his back floats, Justin and Evelyn left him unattended. Until they once again came to their senses. Justin and Evelyn panicked so hard, but this time they weren't so lucky, as Justin asked for the second time to bring Zach back. The Grim Reaper said no. Nothing hurts more than losing a child. Justin felt very guilty for being overconfident, thinking he was invincible. He and Evelyn would break down crying, and they would put their first and only child down and buried him in the backyard. A funeral was held for Zach, and everybody who was close to Justin gave their condolences. This was so heartbreaking because Justin had plans to relocate his family in a bigger house in Newcrest, where Zach would grow up and where Zach would grow up in until he graduated. He was even planning to start his own city there. And just a few days ago, Evelyn and Eliza were having a conversation about starting their families at the same time, so their kids would grow up close. Looks like it was just never meant to happen. This was so crushing. As months went by, Justin started to lose himself. He blamed himself every day for what happened. He was gaining weight and was no longer the fit heartthrob. The fit heartthrob. His entertainment career was delayed. His money plateaued. But none of that hurt more than losing his only child he's ever had. He always believed in reincarnation, though, and believes you do get second chances to get it right. That's when he finally got the courage to do something he never wanted to do, and that was release Zach's spirit out to the netherworld, which is basically the Sims' spiritual realm, whereas Zach became a spirit guide. He knew he had to stay strong and keep pursuing his dreams of being an entertainer and helping people, because he knew that's what his son probably would have wanted. Years later, he ended up going to the multiverse and met two of his variants and bonded with their kids. That's also when he discovered reality shifting and realizing he doesn't gotta wait until after death to reincarnate for a better life. He believes it was Zack who sent him to the multiverse to help Shifter Justin not experience what he did with loss. This filled Justin with so much contentment, and this was also a sign that Zack forgives him. The end.